Was it fun or stressful?
It was wild. I mean, by far the craziest adventure I've ever been on. We're jumping out of helicopters. You know, you could see we're climbing up into Apache helicopter, floating on buoys. We did a lot of crazy adventures. It was basically a bunch of ex-athletes, Olympians, some celebrities got together and tried to, train, fully submerge ourselves in the military lifestyle. You know, we're out in the middle of the Jordanian desert, you know, sleeping on cots. And we wake up every single morning with our feet hitting the sand. Like, I mean, we're in the military, so we're a full submission to them. So it was awesome.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I hope people appreciate the sacrifice people make
Yes.
in our military.
Yeah.
You're a professional athlete, and were you kind of exhausted when it was over?
I lost 15 pounds. I mean, they limited our calorie intake to like 600-700 calories a day. Sleep deprivation kept us up all night. Me and Dwight Howard had a lot of laughs, and we stayed up all night one night on the watchtower, had to secure the base. You know, we were fully in the military lifestyle. So, you know, I gained a huge appreciation for what the military does for us. And I got back home to Texas, and I was kissing the ground when I got home, and I was just so happy.
Let's from happy to sad. You then went to Texas Tech and played for Mike Leach 4 years, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's take us first of all to your recruiting experience. The first time you met Mike.
Yep. So he actually he offered me a scholarship when I was a sophomore in high school, and I played slot receiver in high school too. So I saw Wes Welker come through Texas Tech. I knew I wanted to go to Tech and catch a bunch of passes. I loved his air raid offense, his aggressive style of passing the ball. I knew I wanted to catch passes and have fun. In college, he offered me a scholarship. I committed when I was a junior, and I knew I wanted to play for him. I didn't entertain any other offers coming out of high school, and the recruiting process was awesome for me with him, and we had a great relationship. We have a great relationship up until a couple of days ago when we unfortunately lost him. But I was with him in Key West at his little bar. Went out to see him, and we sat down for 3 hours and talked about life, talked about family, talked about football, and he's a very close friend of mine. I'm going to miss him dearly, and he's just a special individual.
One of America's great sports storytellers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he'll go on tangents, and he'll try to explain the run game or pass game to you, and he'll somehow go to girls softball, and then it'll somehow he'll have some crazy tie into it, and then he'll come back to what he's trying to prove, and you get a crazy different perspective on life, and he was just an amazing person.
So Tom Brady about as well as anybody. I've always theorized with Tom that he likes to be coached hard.
Yeah.
I do believe at the end in New England is a very smart guy. He saw what was happening to the league. They didn't have the weapons.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? I want a little bit more say.
Yeah.
And I need better weapons at 43 years old. That was my takeaway.
Yeah.
So he gets that in Tampa.
Yeah.
But I go back to this, and I said this, Danny, when he arrived in Tampa. Tom is disciplined, driven, academic, tough, resilient. I covered Tampa for 2 years. It's squirrely, it's loose, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's you date him, but it's not who Tom is.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
But I honestly think New England or the Niners are at his core what he is.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. He's from the San Francisco area. Obviously, he grew up there. That's a team that he loved. Joe Montana growing up. He's verbal about that. He loves that organization. Obviously, he was drafted by the Patriots and played there for a million years. So that's in his core. Will we see him play for another team? I'm not sure, but I know he's playing at a high level. I don't think he has the weapons that he had past couple years. He's missing Gronk, obviously. Had some injuries with Godwin early. So, he's got some good tight ends. Brate's good. He's got, a good back. And he's got some weapons. I don't think the weapons are what they used to be a couple years ago when they wanted. But, he's still playing at a very high level. He's throwing the ball well. Obviously, he knows how to operate. So, as long as he's on the field, he's got a chance to win.
So I hold the Patriots, having lived in Connecticut for 10 years through their dynasty. I hold them almost to a different standard.
Yeah.
They were always the smartest team on the field.
Yeah.
Belichick's brilliant. But even brilliant people make mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? I don't like a defensive coordinator calling plays.
Yeah.
And I think Mac Jones has regressed, and it's not an indictment on Mac.
Yeah.
I want you to explain this to the audience, that there's nothing against the defensive coach.
Yeah.
But the offense is a different language.
Yeah.
You guys are, it's just, I mean, most of your buddies, aren't they offensive players?
They are, yeah. And I love Matt Patricia. You know, he's a brother of mine, man. I played for him. He brought me over from Miami to Detroit, so I got to link up with him again. And he's a good coach, man. He understands, you know, defenses and how to attack the defense as an offensive player. I think one thing that Josh McDaniels did for us that maybe, you know, can't be replicated anywhere else is that Josh could tell you what to do and why you're doing it. Whereas other organizations and other coaches just, you know, I played for 7 teams, so I
tell you what to do.
Yeah, they just tell you what to do. They say follow the indicated line on the page, and they don't tell you why. Recently, I learned so much from Josh McDaniels and Tom being in that offense, and it's just hard to duplicate that, hard to replicate, and you know, you kind of see it. You know, I watched the game the other night versus the Cardinals on the flight out here, and you know, I like the play calls they ran in that game, given you know what the Cardinals were doing against them. They blitz a lot more than any other team, so they're trying to get into these, you know, screen plays to the receivers, quick little passes, and try to break a long run, as opposed to going downfield. I'm more you know, acclimated to going. I love going downfield, vertical passing game, putting stress on the defense.
They don't do it.
They don't. I haven't seen that. But then again, he hit a couple seam balls last game that looked really good. I see Mac Jones progressing in terms of he's looking off safeties now. He can anticipate coverages. They're playing tricky coverages now, disguising coverages, and he's picking it up. He made a great throw. I think it was to the Henry and the seam ball. 2 great seam ball throws to Henry downfield. I love to see more of that.
You're pretty good friends with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G, yep, that's my boy.
So now he gets banged up again.
Yeah, sad.
And so his free agent market will be pretty thin.
Yeah.
It's you know, I always said if you grow up and look like Jimmy G, he's a great looking kid. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Women fawn over him. But that does create a confidence. He's not an insecure guy.
Correct.
So he played behind Brady. He literally, last year they wouldn't give him a playbook. And I said, do you know how few quarterbacks are secure enough in themselves to let that happen and not get bitter? Take me inside Jimmy G's personality. He's such a unique guy. Like, he's been to Super Bowls, but I don't see a lot of public ego.
Right. Yeah. You know, the thing about Jimmy is I think he learned a lot from Belichick and Tom in terms of worry about what you can control. And you see him in the preseason working out on his own on the field. They don't want anything to do with him, but he's coming in, he's smiling, he's a good teammate. You know, he's working his tail off on the side, and they're going younger with Lance, but at the same time he's worrying about what he can control.
That's right.
And you know, Lance goes down, next thing you know, next man up, he's up, and I think he's a top 10, 12 quarterback in the NFL. I think he's talented. You know, he made some great plays even as a Patriot, as a young player when Tom was suspended.
So
he came in.
when you played or practiced with him.
Oh yeah,
you felt he threw a big time ball.
Absolutely, he came in as a first, second year guy, and I remember we connected on a blitz zero check. We're playing Miami at home one year. Blitz zero. He's a young guy. Tom would have got to a check, and he did the same thing. And I was like, and we ended up scoring a touchdown on the play. And I'm like, that's a 5-6 year quarterback, what they're doing. And he's out here, you know, making checks. He's calling out, he's operating. And, you know, I feel like he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. So
so you're out of the game. You played 8 games last year with the Texans.
Yep.
Now you're doing TV shows.
Yeah.
Like Brady, you clearly still have an itch. If you got called by Brady in San Francisco, trading deadline, Debo down and said, Danny, we need somebody who knows. This is what he wants. Tom wants somebody who knows him.
Yeah.
Danny Gray goes down.
Yeah.
Would you play?
Absolutely. If Tom's done a lot for me, and if he needs me, I'd always play for Tom. You know, I'm happy not playing. You know, I got enough football. I played for 14 years in the NFL, and you know, played a lot of football. My knees feel better on Monday this year, you know, watching football from the couch. But of course, if Tom called, yeah, definitely I'd have to go back if he'd summoned me out of retirement. But
well, you had 60 catches in the playoffs. take me to, like last year you played 8 games. I want you to take the audience.
Yep.
So there's a lot of weekend warriors. J-Mac's a weekend warrior. So take me to a Monday. How old are you?
I'm 37.
Okay. What do you feel like on a Monday after you've had a couple of catches, you had to block, and what do you feel like?
Knees are swollen. I had to take like every Monday I had to take 25 cc's of inflammation out of my knees, and that just gets old after a while. You know, you're constantly getting your knees drained, and you're playing on AstroTurf, so it's not real friendly for your body, your joints, and you know, it's a rough game, man. You get hit 3 or 4 times. It's like 3 car wrecks. You know what I'm saying? And it's a rough game. It's definitely taxing on your body. You come to a point in your career where, you know, you've played enough football, man. I think I started when I was 10 years old. I had 26 years of football in my life, a season to get ready for. So it was a long journey, and honestly, I'm very, very happy with how far I've come from being undrafted and getting to walk away on my own and play the game that I love. So it was a dream come true.
Okay, January 4th on Fox, Special Forces World's Toughest Test. Series premieres Wednesday, January 4th. I really want to watch. I love, you know, there was a show years ago. Joe Rogan hosted it.
Fear Factor.
Okay, now that was obviously not military.
Right.
But they would ask people to do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And like, you know, walk on a field of ants or something. And that was my first introduction to who Joe Rogan was.
Yes.
And he was doing that show, and I was weirdly attracted to that show.
Yeah, very similar. Very similar.
So it is the same thing. Like, we're asking you to do really uncomfortable stuff.
Without a question. You're facing every fear that you have ever had. You know, water, fire, tear gas. I don't want to spoil it too much, but at the same time.
Were you ever scared?
Oh, every day. Every day. And one of the most taxing things during the show was that we never knew what we were getting into. So we'd pull up to a mission, and we'd jump out of the SUV, and we'd run up to the mission, and we had no idea. We have 2 seconds of debriefing, and then we have to respond quickly. So
wow.
Yeah, it was constantly stressful, exhausting.
Well, just like our military.
Without question, yeah. They fully immersed you into the way of the life. You're eating, drinking hot water, like no showers, no bathrooms, no cell phone. We're in the middle of the desert for 10 days. We're sleeping on cots in a tent together. And once you really focus on surviving, and that's your only job, you know, you tend to lean on other people more, and you have to help as much as you can and give as much as you can.
That's why military people are so close.
Without question. Oh, we all have a bond together, and we were with each other yesterday doing some stuff here on Fox, and it's just great to see everybody. Everybody keeps in touch, and we have a lifelong friendship from just the guys that were together. So
that's incredible.
It was unbelievable.
Danny Amendola, what an absolute pleasure. Good seeing you, man.
Good to see you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.